Hello, friends. Happy Monday. It's your girl, Natalie, the Keto Bikini Pro. And tonight is a very special night, December 30th, 2024. It is almost the new year. And I'm super excited because there are a whole bunch of y'all on tonight. What is up, ladies? I'm so happy to see you here on the live with me. What up, what up? Tonight is a very special night because we are talking about one of the absolute most popular KBB challenges, programs of the year that we are getting ready to start up again for the third year in a row. Third annual Grace and Grind Challenge. Eee! Okay, y'all, this is my heart and soul. If you know me, you know I'm all about the grace within the grind, the self-love, the self-care in the midst of doing what we need to do and showing up for ourselves and grinding it out in the gym, with our nutrition, with our mindset, all those things. And you know, my other big platform mission in life is to get you to stop being all or nothing, 100% or nothing at all. So a big piece of this challenge, the main focus of this challenge is about showing up for yourself, whether you are crushing it or just barely getting by, whether you did the thing or you didn't do the thing. So I'm going to get into all the details of what that means, what Grace and Grind is all about, especially for anybody who is new here, who has not done this challenge in the past. Shannon, shout out to Shannon for the best question. First question of the night. Is this challenge for anyone or clients only? This challenge is for everyone and anyone, and there is a free version. So 3 years ago, our first year, it was a Grace and Grind membership. You paid to be a part of the challenge. Last year, I decided to do the challenge entirely free, and some of the big prizes at the end included free membership in the academy or a very steep discount on membership in the academy, which is our Keto Bikini Academy group coaching programs. So we are going to do that again this year. It is going to be primarily free. All of our academy members get access to all of our challenges, all of our programs throughout the year. So academy members, we're already expecting you to participate. But anybody else can join and participate in the Grace and Grind Challenge entirely for free, and you may be able to join the Academy for free if you show up daily and do what we're asking you to do for the 21 days. So what I'm going to do is dive in first to all of the details of the Grace and Grind Challenge. Make sure that I clarify any questions anybody has about that. And then we are going to dive into, at the end, if you'll hang out with me, the Ask Me Anything questions that have come up. And so, Debbie, I saw your question about InBody Scales. I will answer that at the end when we dive into the AMA stuff for this week, the Ask Me Anything questions. But I need a little more info from you to be able to answer your question well. So give me a little more details about what these differences are that you're seeing at home versus in the gym. If you can give me a little more context, as much detail as you can, then I'm gonna hang out and I'm gonna scroll back and answer that question at the end. All right. Real quick, before we dive into Grace and Grind, I got to show y'all something because I put some stuff up behind me here that came in the mail today. When I did my show in Mexico in November, there was a little snafu with the Federation getting all of the medals and the swag to the show in Mexico. It got stuck trying to get through customs. So my official award came in today. Second place Pro Wellness. My first official FMG award. I'm so excited. my medals. I got 2 medals at this show. I thought I was only going to get one, so I'm thinking one of them is for bikini athletic and one is for wellness. The 2 categories I did, and my swag bag, which will now become my new gym bag for a period of time, and a gym towel, FMG gym towel, which could be like a whole bath towel for me, and a little lanyard for my keys. So I'm super geeked about that. I'll probably be doing an official unboxing video on my socials sometime this week. But you guys are the first to see it. So that will become part of my vision for the year, is to build that little spot into a trophy case to hold the crown that your girl is eventually going to win. So, yay. I have some of my old trophies in my bedroom, but they are so beat up through all the moves that we have gone through in the past few years. They're not very pretty anymore. They've got little dings all over them. So, but that's going to go on the vision board. So speaking of vision boards, something new I want to do this year, because it has been requested by so many ladies in the academy, is I'm going to do a couple of workshops throughout the Grace and Grind Challenge. I'm going to kick it off on Sunday, this Sunday the 5th. So January 5th will be kickoff day. It is not going to be day 1 of the challenge. So Sunday we will kick it off. I will be doing a workshop live video on, I haven't figured out the time yet, but I will confirm that and post all the details on Facebook and all the socials. And here on YouTube, I need to start just doing some posts. I know you can do posts on YouTube. I just never really think about doing that. So for Grace and Grind, I'll make sure that the post gets to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the places. So Sunday, kickoff day, I'm going to do a live video all about how to select the things that you are going to focus on in the challenge. So you will have the week to decide on those things, to really get into what matters to you. I'm going to talk you through how I do my annual year in review, reviewing the past year and setting my own goals for the new year. So I'm going to walk you through that process, how I do that. Some of you will be familiar with things that I've shared before about creating a start, stop, and continue list, doing a annual review of the things that brought you energy and things that robbed from your energy. So I'm going to talk through what that looks like and how I'm deciding on my overall goals and intentions for the year, and then how I'm chunking that down into the things that I'm going to be focusing on during the Grace and Grind Challenge, because I will be doing it with you. So that will be on Sunday, so you can tune into that or you can watch the replay, and then you can really work through that over the first week of the new year. And January 11th, Saturday, January 11th, will be day 1 of the 21 days of the actual checking in for the challenge. So you will not be required to start doing the daily check-ins, which that's the whole name of the game in Grace and Grind, is daily check-ins. That will start on the 11th. So you have a little bit of time, okay? So we're gonna do some pre-work from the 5th to the 11th. So let's get into the deets here, and so I can walk you through this and make it very clear. And don't worry if you're trying to feverishly take notes on everything. I will be posting in the description of this video, after the video, I'll post a summary of everything I share here. And then I also will be sharing with you some pretty images, and just like I did last year, for those who remember, a little guidebook of what is expected. So you will have everything in black and white, printable PDF document that you can use as a PDF, or you can save the images to your phone, and it will be really, really easy to keep track of everything. So, all right. The basic deets that I just shared are the dates. So January 5th, kickoff day, pre-work from the 5th to the 11th, and then January 11th through February 1st. So all the way through January will be your 21 days. I believe I got the math right on that. So Saturday, January 11th through Saturday, February 1st will be the official 21-day, what I'm calling habit refresh, because this is all about refreshing and resetting and establishing daily habits that will help us move forward in our health and fitness goals and life goals, because a lot of this translates. Everything is everything. Everything translates to everything else. So, all right. Okay, here's the gist of the Grace and Grind Challenge for those who are new here. And here's a little refresher for those of you who've done it in the past. Ha, Juliana, yes, I must have seen you grab a paper and pen. I know you like to take your notes, girl, and feel free to take notes, but just know you're going to get all of that. So, all right. Here's the deal. The Grace and Grind is our New Year's challenge that we do every New Year. And it is about taking you out of this mindset of go hard or go home and then burn out, quit, come to the end of the year, you never reached your goals, you lost track of your resolutions in February, and you find yourself spiraling out of control for months. And then you come back and you try to do everything all at once, all again, perfectly. And the moment that something gets in your way or you miss the mark on one thing, you're beating yourself up, you're back in the spiral, and you quit all over again. We want to get you out of that cycle. That's what everybody does at New Year's or whenever they're really motivated to do something. Usually it's after debauchery around the holidays and you feel like crap and then you want to do something about it. And there's just this cycle you just stay in year after year. We want to end all that. So Grace and Grind is about developing awareness, becoming consistent, accountable to yourself, taking full responsibility for everything you're doing or not doing without taking it personally and getting emotional about it, so that you can continue to make steps forward and stop this on again, off again, starting and stopping. Okay? Grace and Grind is about not using grace as an excuse to let yourself off the hook. Grace is not a justification. I'm going to have grace with myself. I just ate a whole box of donuts. I'll give myself grace. And then the next day you do the same thing and the same thing because you're using grace as justification for poor behaviors, unhealthy behaviors. So we want to learn the proper use of grace. Use it when it is required, when it is necessary, when it is important, but not using it as a way of letting ourselves off the hook for what we know we should be doing. Okay? Grace and Grind is also about showing up and taking action toward your goals consistently. That's what the grind part is about. No more starting and stopping, going hard and burning out. So we focus on mindset, movement, nutrition, habit change, personal growth, self-care, accountability, community. You have an incredible group of women to do this with. The coolest part about this challenge, and the thing everybody always puts in the evaluation at the end that it was their favorite part, was the community. Seeing the posts and the check-ins and the accountability of the others, learning from each other, leaning on each other. And it all happens inside the Facebook group. So it is 100% free. You do not have to join the academy to participate and to be a part of the community. Okay? And there are prizes, as I mentioned. So this is about showing up for yourself like never before, learning not to let yourself off the hook, but also learning not to beat up on yourself. These extremes have to end, and we have to find the grace within the grind. That's what it's all about. So my goal for you is that by the end of the challenge, you will develop a new level of personal accountability and discipline to follow through with your intentions without burnout. You will kill your excuses, conquer your fears, shift your habits, and supercharge your belief in your ability to continue to take consistent action toward the health and the body and the life that you desire. And you will make more progress doing that than you ever could with the on again, off again, all in, all out. Okay, so let's talk about how it works, what it looks like practically. Okay, if you've heard of the 75 Hard Challenge, this may be reminiscent of 75 Hard, but what we incorporate is the missing piece of 75 Hard, which is the grace element. Okay, so unlike 75 Hard, if you're familiar with that, it's a 75-day, very difficult challenge that has 5 things you need to do every day, and they're very specific, and they are told to you. You are given exactly the 5 things that Andy Frisella did in his life that you are required to do as a part of the challenge, and if you don't do it, you have to start over at day 1. Well, there are a few things that I've basically taken the idea of 75 Hard, and I have incorporated my own little sprinkle. Y'all know how I do. Okay, it's all about heart and mind and emotions and body. We are not just physical beings. So with the grace element, what we are doing is, number 1, I'm not telling you what the 5 things are that you need to be doing. And actually, this year, I've cut it down to 4. 4 focus areas. So I give you 4 focus areas, things that if you focus on these 4 areas of your life throughout the 21 days, your life will improve for it. Okay, I give you the 4 focus areas, and then you decide what your specific habits are that you're going to be focusing on during the 21 days. So I'm not telling you, you're deciding, but we're going to work through that together in the pre-work. So Sunday, when we do the kickoff, I'm going to talk you through, I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to talk you through, my thought process and how I'm selecting my items. You'll get some ideas from the other ladies, and you'll have some time. You'll have that 5 or 6 days before we officially start the first day on the 11th to drill down into what you want to focus on. But the 4 areas that we are going to be focusing on are fitness, nutrition, mindset, or you could call it personal development, and self-care or self-love. So last year we had mindset separate from personal development, and that was maybe a little much to make sure that you check all those things off in a day. So I wanted to simplify it this year. Another thing that I'm doing a little differently for those who were a part of it and may remember from last year is last year I taught you something that I think was very powerful and very helpful for many of you who tend to be very hard on yourselves. But I think it let some of you justify a little too much. So this year I'm changing that. So last year I taught you how to brainstorm a few different potential habits to focus on. I think we called them non-negotiables for each of the 5 areas. So we're simplifying to 4 areas this year. And this year, I'm going to encourage you to pick 1 habit, 1 for each of the 4 areas. So you're going to pick 1 habit for fitness, 1 habit for nutrition, 1 habit for mindset or personal development, and 1 habit for self-care or self-love. I'm going to talk you through on Sunday specifically what I mean by this, but the key here is when we have 5 things we could be doing, we're less likely to do any of them. And this is something I see a lot of the time in client check-ins under their action plans for the week ahead. They're like, okay, my action plan is this and this and this and this and this. And that is a lot. And I'm like, okay, but what's the one thing? Because if you have one thing to focus on, you're not going to forget about it. You're not going to get distracted by other things. You're not going to do the easier things because they're easy and that thing really challenges you. So what I want you to think about when you're thinking about these 4 areas is, for each area, we are going to find the thing for you that is going to move the needle in your life. And what that means is that you're not defaulting to the thing you already do well, the thing you've already mastered. For me, for example, the fitness element is not going to be strength training. I already consistently strength train. That is not a challenge for me at this point in my journey. If you are currently not doing any strength training and you want incorporating strength training to be your fitness focus, that would be a challenge. That would be a stretch goal, right? So we want to focus on what is the one thing when I think about my fitness, my current level of fitness, what I'm currently doing to improve my fitness. And the reason this year I'm using the term fitness, I've used the term movement in past years, but this year it's about fitness because I want you to choose movement activities or a movement habit that will actually improve your level of fitness. If you're already walking daily, getting in a daily walk is not a challenge. Or increasing your daily walk by 5 minutes, not a major challenge, not going to make a big difference in your fitness. A lot of the ladies in the academy have admitted to me that they do not do the recovery activities that we assign. They'll do their training, but they don't do the recovery days. That might be something to think about. And by recovery days, I mean things like stretching, foam rolling, doing things that help your body recover, recovery activities. So I'll do a lot more brainstorming with you on Sunday, but just know for fitness, nutrition, mindset, and self-care, you're going to be picking something specific in each category, one thing that you are going to be focused on the entire 21 days. So that at the end of the day, you don't get to the end of the day and say, oh, shoot, self-care. I didn't do anything for self-care today. Shower. I took a shower. Shower was my self-care. We don't want to be reactive. This year, it's not about being reactive. It is about being proactive. I want you to write your things down. I want you to put them on the refrigerator, put them on your mirror, put them on your bathroom mirror, put them on your phone, so that you are seeing them, you're keeping them front of mind, and you are not forgetting about them and then letting it be an afterthought at the end of the day. Okay? So the only rule is that it's not something you've already mastered, and it really should scare you a little bit. Committing to doing something for 21 days that improves your life in each of these 4 areas should be a little bit scary. Otherwise, it's not really a challenge for you. So then here's the big piece. This is how you win prizes. This is how you participate and win prizes. We'll be doing a post every day asking you to share your check-in for the day in the Facebook group. Okay. So for each daily habit, your 4 daily habits, you are going to rate yourself. And it's going to be a very simple scale, 1, 2, or 3. 1, I crushed it. Number 1 means I crushed it. I killed it. I did the damn thing. I knocked it out of the park. 2 is I did okay. I could have done better, but it wasn't that bad. I did it. It wasn't my best. It wasn't what I really would have loved for it to be in an ideal day, but I did pretty good. I can acknowledge myself for that. That's number 2. Number 3 is I got it done. Actually, you know what? I'm going to edit that. 2 is I did okay. I got it done. 3, is I didn't do it. I dropped the ball. I didn't show up. So every single day of the challenge, the way that you enter the drawing, because what we're doing is we're doing a drawing. This is what we did last year. We're going to do the prizes the same way we did it last year. Instead, I'm not going to be picking somebody who did the best, because I want you to get out of the mindset. This is what Grace and Grind is about. The mindset is not, did I do the best? Did I do better than everybody else? Did I do this at 110% every day? So your goal is not necessarily to crush it every day. Your goal is to report out on what you did or didn't do every day honestly. Here we go. Juliana knows because she remembers this. She said, be raw, real, and honest. Good, bad, and ugly. That's what Grace and Grind is about. Showing up day after day, whether you crushed it, you just got it done, or you didn't do it at all. And by giving these numbers, and I may come up with a little kitschy icon to use, or letters or words that describe these, something fun. But one of the things that's really difficult to do, and one of the reasons why we tend to hide when we're not doing well, is because we don't want to have to say or spell out in detail how we messed up or didn't show up or what we're ashamed of. So this gives you kind of this scale to report back on, to where if I didn't do it, if you just say 3 or C or use an icon that we come up with for not getting it done, it takes a little bit of the sting out. So you're less likely to hide and just not show up and not say anything at all. We want you to fall on your sword and say, hey, it didn't happen. I didn't do it. Okay? Because this is the key, y'all. This is the key to everything. This is what got me to stop binging and purging. When I started showing up and being honest with myself first and then others, regardless of how pretty or ugly it looked. If you can start assessing how well you did honestly, without assigning emotion to it, without making it mean something about you, without emotional manipulation is what I will call that, because your emotions will either justify things you did poorly or catastrophize things that you did well, or maybe not as well as you'd like to. I always see that we either make it a much bigger deal than it needed to be and say we're failures when we actually did okay, or we don't do it at all. We don't show up for ourselves at all, and we just try to make ourselves feel better by justifying. So the most important part of the Grace and Grind Challenge is to take responsibility and accountability for your actions or your inaction. So everyone who checks in daily in the Facebook group, I will be watching. I'll be keeping a tally with all of your names. And everyone who checks in every week of the challenge, we're going to do weekly prizes. So 21 days is 3 weeks. Every week at the end of the week, I'm going to look at who checked in every day that week. And I'm going to do fun little prizes like electrolytes, protein powder, maybe some apparel, some KBB apparel, fun stuff, maybe gym stuff, booty bands, who knows. I'm going to be doing fun little gifts like that. And then at the very end of the challenge, I'll tally up everyone who checked in all 21 days, and we have some prizes that you can win and you can choose from. So we're going to have some discounted Academy memberships, a free month in the Academy, free calls with myself or Coach Mary Grace. So I'll be announcing all of those prizes, and then anyone who completes all 21 days will be in a drawing, and we will be pulling names for prizes. There will be multiple prize winners. So there's not just one person that's going to win one prize and that's it. Okay. And also we love to do the weekly prizes, because let's say there is one day you don't check in. out of the 21. Maybe you won't be in the running for the full, big prizes at the end, but you could still win a prize 2 out of the 3 weeks. You'll have the opportunity. So we want to give you that too. So this is all about, who cares if you stumble and fall, get back up and keep going. Okay. I have a little, it's so funny. I just found a little decorative framed piece that have been in a box forever that I just pulled out to put up for the new year. And it says, if you stumble, make it part of your dance. And if you don't know, I'm a former dancer, so I just love that. And I'm going to stop calling myself a former dancer because, y'all, I put dance on my list of goals for 2025. I will be going back to the dance studio, and I have already booked my very first class on New Year's Day and my second class on January 2nd. So ultimately, my goal for you is that what you select for your daily habits throughout this challenge will roll up to your greater vision and your goals for your life over the next year. And that's what we're going to talk about on Sunday. We're going to talk about vision, we're going to talk about goals, and then we're going to talk about chunking that down into creating your particular personal habits that you want to focus on here. So I think that's all I have to say about the challenge. Does anybody have questions specifically about the challenge before I shift over to answering some of these other fun questions we got for the Ask Me Anything? There's always a little delay, so I'll hang out. Juliana says, I have a question, but it might be a next week thing. Drop it, girlfriend. I'll tell you if it's a next week thing or if it's something I can answer now. And while you do that, and anybody else, if you have burning questions about the challenge, drop them here. If you are a person later on watching the replay, drop your questions about the challenge. If you need clarification on anything, I'll drop into the comments and I will respond to questions there. I will be putting up a web page on my website all about the challenge with all the details as well. So as soon as that's up, I'll drop that for y'all, so you'll have that to refer to. But if you are not yet in my Facebook group, Keto Bikini Secrets, check out Keto Bikini Secrets on Facebook. Look for the group. The link will be in the description after the live tonight. I usually always put those in the descriptions of my Monday masterclasses. Join the Facebook group because that is where we will be doing the daily accountability posts. I had a handful of people last year who were not on Facebook and wanted to participate in the challenge. And I emailed them the resources and they would email me every day. So if you are one of those people watching on YouTube or watching the replay, you are not on Facebook, you don't have a profile at all, you don't want to create a profile just for the challenge, drop me a comment. And how did I get emails last year? I don't want you to have to put your email out on the interwebs, but drop a comment. Let me know if you want to participate, but you'll need to do so by email, and I can shoot you my web link, and you'll be able to email me there, and we can coordinate that way. But the grand majority will all be happening in Facebook. Okay. Juliana's question was, does it need to be, can you check it off completed if your goal is to do, insert thing here, 3 times a week? Or does it need to be specific daily items? Okay, so for example, great idea, great question. For example, I'm thinking, let's say you're talking about fitness, right? And you are not training 7 days a week, which hopefully nobody is, because I always encourage everyone to have at least one rest day. So for your fitness item, maybe it's 3 days a week you're doing strength training. Well, then what I would ask, because this is a daily challenge, is that you lay out how many days a week you're doing strength training and what you are doing on the other 4 days of the week for your fitness. That way, every day you have something to check off, but it may not be the exact same thing every day. Does that make sense? What I don't want it to be, though, is I'm going to train 3 days a week and I'm going to do X number of steps every day, and I'm going to do and have like 5 different things you're going to do for your fitness. But if you're like, okay, over my 7-day week, 3 of those days are going to be strength training and 4 of those days are going to be a 20-minute walk. Or, 2 of those days are going to be stretching and 2 of those days are going to be a 30-minute walk. If you lay that out in the beginning, then it doesn't have to be according to a set schedule, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever. But when you check in daily, you'll say, today's thing was the walk and I got it done. Or today's thing was the training and I didn't get that done, but I did the walk instead. And tomorrow I'm doing the training. So that's kind of what your day-to-day check-in might look like. Thank you, Juliana. God, I love y'all. Always keeping me on my toes. I could not remember how I did that last year. I do have an email address that I do share on my website. It is natalie@nataliejgrasso.com. So you can email me there if you do not have Facebook and you are not going to be able to participate via Facebook. And I'll get you what you need to participate via email. So it's natalie@nataliejgrasso.com. And if you go to my website, nataliejgrasso.com, there's also a contact me page there that will go to that email as well. Thank you, love. Okay. Let me pull up. I did have a very cool question in the Facebook group, and then I'm going to get to Debbie's question. And it looks like I got a couple of cool questions on here about, oh yeah, okay. Andre gave me a couple questions. Cool. All right, let's dive into the Ask Me Anything portion of tonight's chat. And if anybody else has any questions at all that you want to ask about health, fitness, nutrition, low carb, keto, carnivore, any of the things, feel free to drop it in the chat. Let's see what I had posted in the Facebook group. Make sure I can find those comments. There it is. Okay, cool. All right, Debbie, I'm going to start with your question. InBody Scales. Gym upright versus home floor model. I can understand small difference in weight from morning weigh-in to afternoon at the gym, but 4 to 6 difference in pounds for skeletal muscle mass, body fat mass, and 5% body fat percentage. And then I asked her for more details. So she said weight was 1.9 pounds higher than home. No issue since morning versus afternoon, naked versus dressed, right? Hydrated, all of those things, right? But skeletal muscle mass, 4.4 pounds higher than home. Body fat mass, 6.6 pounds lower than home. And body fat percentage, 5.4% lower than home. Interesting. I can say I've actually never compared the industrial models to the home models, but I would suspect that the industrial models may be more accurate. Here's a question, because I think I've only ever seen the commercial, I'm calling them industrial, the commercial InBody systems at the KetoCon. I think that was the only time I ever saw one of those. So do they put you, like, do you have more electrodes? Is there more happening there than on your home, just holding the hand things and the feet things? I can't remember if they're doing more with it, but I would suspect that might be a bit more accurate. Or here's a question. Are you, when you're doing it at the gym, are you doing it pre or post workout? And hydration and food. So hydration, how much water and electrolytes you're consuming, and when you eat relative to when you get on the InBody, that's going to make a difference in skeletal muscle mass and body fat. So that could change things as well. So I would look at those things, and then the other thing just might be that maybe the industrial commercial one is a little more sensitive to the changes, the differences in body composition. Okay, she said, stand on platform, 2 separate handles to hold, pre-workout. Okay, so you're not doing it after working out. Hadn't eaten, just coffee and water before going. Yes, yeah, Cindy says, wouldn't hydration and food intake through the day still cause fluctuations in the muscle and fat readings? Yes. Kind of like DEXA of the same if the same variables are not repeated test to test. Yes, absolutely. So coffee and water absolutely can change things. Basically, the more hydrated you are, the more it's going to read in lean mass. So it simply could be as simple as the coffee and the water is making it look like you have more lean mass. That is something that I notice with when on my home system, the difference between when I have higher carb days or lower carb days or carnivore versus keto days or, hydration changes day to day, I notice those things as well. So it's very much possible that that's as simple as it is. What I would do in that case is just track home versus home and gym versus gym, and don't try to compare the two because you'll just drive yourself crazy trying to do that. So compare apples to apples, time of day, hydration level, and which method or which device you're using with that same device under the same conditions. This is one of the reasons why this is so tricky. And the question, how perfectly, I'm going to read the question I got in the Facebook group because it also has to do with body fat percentage, and it has to do with the same thing, which is different methods are always going to give you different numbers. Even 2 different DEXA machines with 2 different DEXA technicians. Even the same DEXA machine with a different technician could give you different numbers. It's one of these reasons why I always take all this stuff with a grain of salt. And yes, like Juliana said, pick one and stick with it. And compare apples to apples. What we don't want to do is go chasing after numbers and whatever system might give us better numbers. And then why does this one look worse than that one? You'll just create more stress than is worth it. Deb says, I fluctuate terrible. Girlfriend, don't I know it? Oh, Deb, my heart goes out to you. She has some serious fluctuation, y'all. Oh, okay. Great follow-up question. Debbie says, I track both separately. Just wondering if my scale at home is faulty after multiple years. Unlikely. I would say, if you think it's faulty, it would be more like if it's giving you 2 wildly different readings within minutes or days. One day you get on it, it's something crazy different than the next day. Compare it to itself, right? But no, I wouldn't base that off of what you're getting at the gym. For instance, even on my at-home version, I went to Atlanta for a week. I came back. When I got back on the InBody after 8 days, my skeletal muscle mass was down 2 pounds or 2 to 3 pounds. It was lower than I ever see it. Usually it always sits around the same 1 pound fluctuation, 52 to 53 pounds. I went to Atlanta for a week, used the home scale I have there, came back, got on InBody, and it said 50 pounds skeletal muscle mass. I didn't lose 2 to 3 pounds of muscle mass in 8 days. The very next day, it was back up to 52.3. And then it's been in the 52s point something ever since. So it was just one fluke of a day, maybe from flying, travel, fluid, hydration levels. I was definitely dehydrated that day. So it makes sense. Good questions, though. All right, let's see. LaShonda says, sign up where? Sign up for the challenge. Is that what you're asking? You don't have to sign up anywhere. There's no official sign up. All you have to do is show up in the Facebook group. So Keto Bikini Secrets on Facebook is the group. We'll let you into the group and then you participate there. So January 11th is the official first day where we will be looking for your check-ins. And all you need to do to check in is post inside the Facebook group saying, here's my report for the day. Here's what I did, didn't do, blah, 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 blah. Also, it does not have to be at night at the end of the day. It can be the following morning for the previous day. Okay, let me clarify that. I didn't think about that, clarifying that. Sometimes you're ready to do your report for the day and you have the evening cleared and you can get online and do it right then. Sometimes your nights go crazy, especially you ladies with children, right? Next thing you know, you find yourself waking up the next day. I don't want you to feel like, oh my gosh, now I've missed the day. It's perfectly okay in the morning to report for the previous day or at night to report for the same day, okay? So all of that is going to be fine. We'll be able to see that you checked in for each day. We'll probably have some specifics that we'll give you about, when you do your post, say what day of the challenge it is that you're posting about. That was one thing that I think threw me for a loop when I didn't see that in the posts. So when we give you the worksheet or the guidebook for the challenge with all of the details, we'll include, okay, what to include in your post to make it an official post. Day one of the challenge, here's what I got done, yada, yada, yada. So as long as you're putting the day number and we can see that you checked in for day 1 through day 21, you will be in the running for the big prizes. Okay. Julian, I love this. Let's be real. KBA is worldwide. We are global. The due date is COACHNAT's grace for us and everyone around the globe. Ain't no one trying to do all the time zone math. Ain't that the truth? Exactly. Just report out what day it was for you that you're reporting on. Now, what we're not going to do is let grace become justification. And 4 days later, you're saying, oh, here's what I did on day 2. Here's what I did on day 3. I missed checking in all week. Now I'm going to do my whole week at the end of the week. No, we want check-ins daily. Okay, so I don't care if it's in the morning or at night, but I also don't want you stacking up days and coming back at the end of the week and saying, here's my report out for all week. It ain't the same. Okay, you got to show up for yourself daily. And that means showing up to tell us what happened daily. Okay. Shannon asks, some years back, did you work with Keto Gains? I did a boot camp with them and I feel like I worked with you back then. Yes, ma'am. I knew your name sounded familiar to me. Yes, that's me, Coach Nat. I was in Keto Gains, for at least 2 years, 2020 through 2022, I believe was, or maybe 23. Can't remember now if it was 22. I think it was 22, end of 22 when I left. And that's when KBA was born, shortly after that. So welcome. Hey, girlfriend. You are in good company here. We've got a lot of Keto Gains grads in our midst around here, including Coach Mary Grace, my assistant coach in the academy, my right-hand woman. She was also a Keto Gainser for a long time. That's how she and I met. And she's now a coach and she's crushing it. And we're getting her on stage, y'all, in 2025. Ooh, I just called her out. I know she doesn't mind. All right, let's see. I know I had some other questions up here. Boop, boop, boop. Hey, Deb. She says, I have been so out of it for the past few months. I'm ready for this. I'm back in 2025. We are here for you, baby. So excited. Let's get you back to 100%. Okay. Let's see. Andre had a question. When would you consider using the COACHNAT model, or I don't know how y'all pronounce that. I pronounce it COACHNAT, calories in, calories out model. If you are trying to lose the last 10 to 15 pounds of body fat and eat a carnivore diet to satiety, and eating a carnivore diet to satiety is not working for fat loss. Thank you. Okay, so I do not use the calories in, calories out model at all. Now, let me clarify that. That does not mean that I don't care how much I'm eating or how much you are eating. Total intake does matter, but it's not as simple as calories in, calories out, or food in, food out, or energy in, energy out, however you want to call that. It always comes down to macronutrient and micronutrient breakdown. So macronutrients matter, meaning how much protein versus how much fat. So if we're talking pure carnivore diet, you got 2 macros. You're either 0 carb or probably under 10 carbs, negligent carbs from eggs, or if you're a coffee drinker, little things like that. So proteins and fats, how many grams of each of those things for you is important. I don't work with ratios. I don't work with calories. Calories come along with macros. So the question to ask yourself is, am I eating sufficient, adequate protein for my goals? And am I eating enough fat for my goals, or managing and not eating too much fat for my goals? So if you're talking about the last 10 to 15 pounds, you're probably already pretty lean. I don't know if you're training, but training matters too. Don't know about your training and activity level, but I'm just going to answer this kind of generally. The way I do it with clients, with myself, when I'm doing a prep, when I'm doing a cut, make sure I'm getting adequate protein, which I will always say at least minimum 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. I tend to go 1 gram per pound of total body weight, especially if you're lean, or more. If you're very lean, we're talking the last 10 to 15 pounds, you may want your protein to be higher than your body weight. I'm a very petite person. I generally eat more protein than my body weight. For quite a while there, I was eating 1.25, 1.3 times my body weight in protein by grams per pound of body weight. So ensure that you are eating enough protein. That's number one. From there, if you are getting at least 1 gram per pound of body weight in protein, and you are eating, let's say, 1-to-1 protein to fat by grams, so you are eating the same number of grams, and I don't know how much you weigh. Let's say you weigh 150 pounds. If you're eating 150 grams of protein and 150 grams of fat, and you are not losing body fat, this is where we would pull back on the fats. And I do it slowly, incrementally, 10 to 15 grams at a time. Pull back 10 to 15 grams of fat. It's about 1 tablespoon of rendered fat. And then from there, if you're still not, after 2 weeks or so, still not seeing fat loss, pull back more on the fats. And if you find yourself very hungry during that process, bump up the protein a little bit more. So essentially, we're just taking that fat and protein, and you're pulling back on the fat and bumping up on the protein if you need to during the cut to keep you satiated. Hope that helps. But that's my process. It's pretty simple. I don't have to do any math. I don't have to figure out ratios. I'm not calculating calories. Simple. All right, and then another question from Andre. Could I eat a carnivore or keto diet based on burgers and eggs? Absolutely, due to financial constraints. How would you advise on how to calculate the amount of food to eat and lose body fat without being hungry? Just as I talked about. So go by grams of protein per pound of body weight. And generally, I like to start, I don't know where you're at already, but the first thing I would do, I failed to say this before, but the first thing I would do is if you're not already tracking what you're eating, start tracking. Start weighing and measuring and tracking what you're currently eating and establish your baseline. That's where everybody that comes into the academy, everybody that I work with privately, the first thing I ask them to do is just track what they're already eating. We don't try to calculate macros based off of some arbitrary formula. We say, okay, what are you currently eating now? Let's see where you're at. Let's see where your numbers land. If you are not yet consuming 1 gram per pound of body weight, or for my people who have a lot of body fat to lose, we go off of 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight or goal body weight. Then the first thing you need to do is get that protein up. And the way you would do that with burgers and eggs is you go for a leaner ground beef. Or you can drain the fat from your ground beef, because usually I think the higher fat ground beef is usually cheaper. So if we're on financial constraints, go with the higher fat, but then you can drain the fat and track it as cooked. Track it as a cooked entry, or find an entry that's listed as drained. They even have rinsed. You can even rinse it if you want to reduce the fat further. But absolutely, I mean, Bronson lives on ground beef and eggs. That is what he does. And then the occasional wings. He had chicken wings tonight, for example. But he'll do some other things from time to time, but he lives on ground beef and eggs every day. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. And a carnivore template, go for it. Now, the other piece you had in this question, how to calculate the amount of food to eat and lose body fat without being hungry. This is what I like to say when I'm giving tough love. When we are trying to lose body fat, think about what that means. We are asking our body to take the fat out of storage, mobilize it for energy, because we are not giving our bodies the energy it needs to sustain itself where it is. Okay, that's what fat loss is. So in effect, we are starving our bodies of energy so that the body will take from our storage and use it. So guess what's going to happen when we're doing that? Especially if we're lean and we only have 10 to 15 pounds to lose. You're going to get hungry, even on keto, even on carnivore. Despite what you hear on the interwebs about this being a miraculous way to lose body fat without ever being hungry, it ain't true. When you first transition from standard American diet or a high carb diet to a keto or carnivore diet, you may find that at first you're going to have a lot of hunger and cravings in the first week or two, or your transitional period. But once you transition to being a fat burner, you will find that you don't get hungry as often. You can go longer without eating, right? It's because fat and protein together are very satiating, and fat is a slower burning fuel than sugar. So when you were a sugar burner, you got hungry a lot more often, right? So a lot of the time you hear, I'm never hungry, but that fades away over time. So if you've been doing this for a while, it's not always going to be like that, especially when you're asking the body to take its own fat and use it for fuel. Hunger is just part and parcel of body fat loss, is part of the process. In fact, I like to say to embrace the hunger, because it means that your body is burning body fat. If you're never hungry, you're not in an energy deficit. You're not in an energy crisis according to the body. So it's not going to need to take energy from storage. Okay. Siv has a question about the Academy. For those in the Academy, when will we have a new training block, and will we have shelf building? Oh, that is awesome. I love that. Okay, by shelf building, she means booty, y'all. The booty, the shelf. Yes, all of our programs are we always focus on the booty, always focus on the glutes. But yes, how exciting. I'm glad you asked this question. The Academy will be starting a brand new training program on January 6th, Monday, January 6th. So this Saturday, the 4th, is the last day of our current training block. On Sunday, the 5th, inside the Academy, you will get, or maybe on Saturday, you will get the training block spreadsheet and all the deets and my intro video. So you'll be prepared for the following week. And then the first full week of the new year, you will be starting your new program. And also, this is another thing I forgot to mention, a big thing I forgot to mention about the challenge. Along with the challenge, for those of you who want more than just, here's your habit tasks, your daily check-in habit tasks for the challenge. If you want a training program, if you want macros, if you want Zoom calls and coaching and community, you can join the Academy. I am going to be doing a special Grace and Grind 1 month discounted membership to join just for January, just for the Grace and Grind challenge. So the Academy members will be starting the new program on the 6th. If you join the first week of January, you can start with them on January 6th, or you can start with the Grace and Grind challenge, which would be the following Monday, January 13th, any of that time. And then you can follow that program with us through the month of January. And when the challenge ends, you can decide if you want to stay in the Academy and sign up for an official 1, 3, or 6 month membership. Or if you're a prize winner, you may get it for free. You never know, or discounted. But I will be dropping the details later this week before we get started, before the kickoff on Sunday, with what that Grace and Grind 1 month Academy membership pricing is going to be. A regular 1 month, month-to-month membership which gets auto-renewed monthly, is $150. I am thinking about discounting that month to $100, which is our 6 month commitment monthly membership. Typically, you would have to sign up for 6 months and commit to being a member for 6 months to get the $100 a month rate. But I think I'll do it as a sneak peek just for the Grace and Grind challenge, just for the month of January, at $100, non-renewing. So you're only committing to 1 month. It will end at the end of January, and then you'll get to decide if you want to purchase another membership or not. But you will not be on the hook for a renewing membership. So that's what I'm thinking it's going to be. I will confirm that later this week and share all the details in the Facebook group. All right. Let's see. Nedward. I don't know who this is, but gotta love the YouTube usernames. Nedward asks, I am interested in making a vision board too. Do we still use magazines for those these days? I love to do the real vision boards. I actually have 2 of them that I found, once again, with all the other things I haven't put up from moving, that I'm going to redo, because I love to do the old school magazine cutouts. But you could also now you can do Pinterest, you can do digital ones. There's all kinds of things you can do. Something Bronson and I are doing this year is, for our overarching vision for the year, we are using AI, ChatGPT prompts to create an image, one image that represents that main overarching goal. He already had his printed out. I still have to create mine. And we're having it framed, and we're going to put it up. So mine's going to be right on this wall right behind my desk, so I'll see it every day. So it's more of like just one single image than a whole bunch, but I'll probably do a vision board myself as well, because I do like those things. And I like to go back and redo the ones I've had in the past. When things come true, I update it with the new things, the new goals. All right, let's see. Do we have other questions in here in the chat? Okay, I had another question about body fat percentage in the Facebook group. So this is for Kathleen. Hopefully Kathleen is watching the replay or will be watching the replay. She says, I have a question. I have been listening to lots of old videos, and you mentioned that a body fat percentage lower than 22% or so is unhealthy. So why is that when athletes have a body fat lower than 20% or 18%? Also, Kelly Hogan has a 15% body fat and she's very healthy. Just wondering because my scale at home says I'm 11% and the Navy thing says 18%. So somewhere in the middle, I assume. And what is the real number one should aim for and how to get there without gaining lots of body fat? If I already work out with weights daily and eat plenty of food, and protein is usually over 150 grams, and I am ketovore, is there a program of yours to get the results, or should I just keep doing the things I'm doing? But how will I know if it is healthy fat percentage when I get there? Woo! Okay, a lot going on here. First, let me just address the body fat percentage thing. The tricky thing here, and this is what I alluded to earlier with Debbie's question, is that there's no one size fits all body fat percentage. Every single testing measure is different. So like you said, at home, it's giving you 11%, and then Navy is giving you 18%. InBody might give you something different. DEXA might give you something different, and on and on and on and on we go. So it's almost counterproductive to be chasing after a percentage. Actually, I should just say that it is counterproductive to be chasing after percentage. I like to talk about percentages in ranges. And so that may be where you heard me talk about, 22 to 26% is a great place to be. It's like considered the healthy mid-range for women. And that anybody who's above 30%, pretty much by any measure, I would say the goal should be to get under 30% body fat. Now, when we're talking about lower levels, this is where it gets a lot trickier because I don't know what your home scale is. Navy, I think, tends to be more accurate, but it also tends to be more inaccurate for some people based on different factors because it's only taken into account your measurements. Now, and I'm not sure what measurement Kelly Hogan uses to get the 15%. I don't know which measure it would be. So it's too much to try to say, well, this is bad, or this is too low, or this is what you should be aiming for. What I would probably need, and this is what I would do for private clients, is I would want a lot more data from you. I would want to see pictures. I would want to know your measurements. I would want to know your training schedule, because you said train with weights daily. Hopefully you're not training 7 days a week. I would want to know about your daily activity level and your total intake of nutrition. And then on top of that, I would probably want to look at your blood work. I would want to know more about your health status, how you're feeling, your biofeedback. These are the things that we track for private clients and also members inside the academy, because all of that tells us a bigger picture of your health. So when we're talking about somebody being unhealthy, we need to look at all of that. I can't really determine that just off of body fat percentage. I'd also want to look at what are we talking about in terms of mass. What is your total body weight? What is your total body fat mass? What is your total skeletal muscle mass or lean body mass in numbers, in pounds? Because percentages don't mean a lot without all the other data present. And then your biofeedback would be probably the number one thing that would tell me whether or not you're healthy. So for instance, when you're saying, with all this info you said, is there a program of yours to get the results? What results? What results are you looking to get is the question. I probably do have a program. I mean, here's the thing. What I don't do that you see a lot of people on the internet doing is I don't have this program and that program and do my 4-week this and my 6-week that. What I do and what we do in the Academy is ongoing personalized coaching. We meet each member and client where they are. We take everything into account. We get to know you. We get to know what you're doing. We get to know what you want, what your goals are, how you're feeling, all of those things. And we help you determine the right next step for you. So if you were to join the Academy or work with me one-on-one or work with Coach Mary Grace, we absolutely would help you get whatever the results are that you're looking for. Now, if let's say we look at everything and we say, yikes, your symptoms, the way you're feeling, your biofeedback is telling us you're starving, your body fat percentage is low, which I would consider anything in the teens to be low for women. Athletically lean is low body fat. So when you're talking about athletes under 20%, I'm currently under 20%. I'm still 7 weeks out from my last stage. And now, after many, many years of improving and optimizing my health, my nutrition, my training, my recovery, and I'm now in a beautiful place of optimal health, under 20%, I could not and would not have been optimally healthy under 20% 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago. So there's a lot more at play than just body fat percentage. There was a time when I was not healthy at the very same body fat percentage I'm easily able to maintain at now. But that's because now I am feeding myself nutritionally. I am getting the full picture of micronutrients in my diet. I'm not binging and purging. I'm not over exercising. I'm not doing a ton of cardio, way too much activity than what I should be doing. All of those things, and my biofeedback tell me that I'm healthy. So we need to look at all of that. But whatever results you are not getting that you would like to get, unless it is something that we would tell you that's not healthy for you. For example, we've had women come to us eating very little, very, very small women, under-muscled and underweight, and not eating very much and telling us they want to lose fat. In that case, I would be 100% honest and say, what you need to do is eat more. We need to actually put a little bit of body fat on your body along with some muscle. And so you're going to need to eat more, and we're going to need to put you into a restoration phase. And if they're not okay with that and they want to leave, they can do that. And that has happened before. So I would be 100% honest with you if you came to me with all your data. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to do a discovery call, hop on my website, nataliejgrasso.com. There's a place where you can book a discovery call. As a matter of fact, after this live, I always put the link directly to book a call with me there. If you want to do that, and so you can share more of your info with me, then I'll be happy to share with you on that call whether or not we would be a good fit, whether or not your goals are realistic, based on what results you do want and you are looking for. I am happy to hear that you're eating over 150 grams of protein. That sounds awesome. And if you're ketovore, you're probably covering your nutritional bases. So it's possible that you're not too lean, depending on, all of your health factors. But I would definitely need more info to see that. But awesome question. And I hope that this sheds some light for others. Nothing is ever black and white. Even individual things that I have said in past videos, if I have said under 20% is low body fat, right, is unhealthy, there's always context at play. So I welcome y'all. I mean, there are videos, I've now been doing these videos for I think 3 years now, that I forget what the heck I even say in some of these master classes. So I'm always open for you to bring up something I said and challenge it and ask me more about it. And let's go deeper, because I'm always learning, and I'm the last person who will ever be dogmatic about anything, whether it comes to a protocol or a diet or a way of eating or even something I've said in the past. It's about what is going to help you best right now, not me being right. We are always learning more things. And, we should be growing and learning all the time. I believe that that's what we're here to do on this earth, is grow and expand. So I love it. Y'all challenge me in all the best ways. I love all the questions. Keep them coming. This was a great one. We are over an hour, and I think that's all the questions I got. So I'm going to end it here. And if I missed any questions, then I will either respond to you in the Facebook group or here in the comments on YouTube, or I will put it on the list for the next Ask Me Anything, which we will be doing monthly on YouTube in 2025. So one thing I am committing to myself in 2025 is doing a lot more content for y'all, a lot more on YouTube, expanding the team in KBB, in the Academy, so we can get some support with the social media side of things and admin, and just continue to be able to serve more people in many more ways. So I love y'all. I'm also going to share more recipes with y'all this year. That is a big, big thing. Maybe even my first cookbook. Publishing my first book is on my list for 2025. Just don't know which book it's going to be yet. If it's going to be a keto bikini body how-to guide, or if it's going to be a recipe book, or what. Y'all let me know what book you want me to put out first. There's lots of ideas there, but I will definitely be publishing a book. You can hold me to it. It is happening this year. Come hell or high water. Make your scary, big, hairy, audacious goals known to the world so you can't back out. And that's what we're going to do in Grace and Grind. Get ready. All right, LaShonda said she wants to be in the Academy. Come on in, girlfriend. The water is warm. I will get you the details on that discount ASAP. Today is Monday, so my goal is to get that out to y'all by January 1st, by Wednesday. So if you don't see it by Wednesday and you're looking for it, ping me on whatever platform you're on, and I'll make sure you get the info. Love y'all. Go crush it this week. You have one more day in 2024. For anybody who is struggling right now, do not give yourself the excuse, I'm going to start on day one on January 1st, so tomorrow I'm going to have a blowout. Don't make it worse for yourself. You can cross the threshold from 2024 into 2025 already feeling like a boss. You can wake up on January 1st feeling amazing in your body, feeling amazing in your skin, not bloated, not uncomfortable, not hungover, not exhausted, happy, healthy, vibrant, feeling good, and feeling damn proud of yourself because you did not give yourself an excuse for debauchery on New Year's Eve. I, for one, will not be drinking. I don't know how many years ago I had my last drink. I will not be eating standard American diet garbage. It's going to be a ketovore, carnivore, regular day in the life for me. Hell, if I can even stay up late enough to celebrate at midnight, we will see. But it's hip to be square, guys. I can't believe I just said that. How about go get a pump tomorrow? Go get a pump to end off the year strong, and then show up on January 1st, guns blazing. Let's go. I love y'all. Happy New Year. Cheers to your most successful year yet. It is 100% within your control to make 2025 the best year of your life until 26 rolls around, and then that'll be the best, and then get better and better and better no matter how old you are. All right, I am now going to stop rambling and give you the rest of your night back. I love y'all. Here we go. Onward and upward to your goals in 2025. Peace out. See you in Grace.